You're tuned into the Borth podcast, the place where clarity replaces confusion and real conversations open new doors for your financial life. Let's dive in and rethink what's possible.
Hello, welcome back to the Borth podcast. Today we're going to talk about something we probably don't touch on enough, but we really should be talking about. And that is, have you ever felt that feeling of financial pressure where you can't sleep at night, or you're sitting there going, there's something that I need to know in order I can sleep better at night, or I know there's something inherently wrong with in my financial picture, my financial area of my life, and I'm not finding abundance there. And why is that? What's going on? So today, what I'm going to walk you through is just a quick conversation we had with an agent of ours that I work with and I mentor, and it kind of what he did and how he proposed this to a client. And it was so clear and it was so helpful that the person was just raving that this is exactly what he was looking for. And what I found really interesting with that was the simplicity of the conversation. Sometimes we think it has to be complicated to bring the clarity that we want. And I think sometimes, and I know sometimes, that clarity comes with simplicity, it doesn't come with complexity. But we're conditioned to kind of think like, hey, if this isn't difficult, it's not valuable. But so today we're going to talk about this idea of liquidity, burn rate, and financial pressure because you don't have enough money saved. And we're going to talk a little bit about the why we don't save enough money. And so let's get into it really quick. And for those that are watching, I'm going to share a screen. For those that are listening, I'm going to try and talk you through this. But all I would say is if you kind of like the content, if you like what you're hearing, I would love to share this with you individually, give the sheet to you, have you work through it. It's bringing a lot of clarity and a lot of, it's allowing people to sleep at night. The sense of like, I can lay my head on my pillow and I know for sure, I don't have to think, I don't have to worry. And I know for sure, so we can live in this I know world. And it's bringing people the ability to make better decisions, sleep better at night, find abundance in all of their areas of life. And really give them direction. Give yourself some direction. It's like, I know what the next step is. I know what I need to do first before I go to the next step. We're reading a book and it's just talking about people wanting to, grow their wealth, but they're doing things maybe 2 or 3 steps out ahead of where they're at currently, so that not being impactful to what they're doing. So, so they get frustrated and they quit because they go, that wasn't for me. Well, maybe it's for them. It just wasn't the right timing. So this is about sequence and timing, but it starts with, do I know my numbers? And from a guy that I'm very much a big picture guy, this is so simple. And it starts with, and I hear this all the time. I go to conferences and think tanks and events, and everyone's like, well, you got to know your numbers. And like, okay, how and to what degree? And so we're gonna tackle that today on the podcast, and it's going to be really good and be really simple. And all I would say is, if this is of interest to you, reach out to me. I'm on Facebook. You can shoot me an email at Wade@SageWealthStrategy or Wade@FactandFinancial.com, and we'll walk you through this. Or if you're an agent, think about how this might be beneficial to your agent, your clients as well. So anyhow, let's get started. I'm not a huge spreadsheet person, but this is very simplistic. And so really what we're going to start with is just getting a rough handle on what your monthly expenses are. And here on the screen, what I did is just like, it's really simple. I went to my, again, this is a hypothetical, but imagine just pulling up, I actually did this. I was doing some tax work and like, let's pull up my checking account or household checking account and see what my expenses are. And this is actually a good audit that you should be doing because you do find that you're paying for a lot of things that you're maybe not using or doubling. It's crazy how, because things are so easy, they've been able to get on there and they don't get off until you physically go in there and take it off. So it's a really good exercise for those people that are going, man, it seems like a lot of money flowing through my hands, but I have nothing to show for it. And it's not a budgeting conversation. It's just like, are we finding the areas that we're spending money that we're not using, that transfer that unknowingly or unwittingly, we're transferring money away that we shouldn't be. So that's a separate exercise. But I pulled out a monthly, pull out your monthly statement and just kind of go through here. Now, I'm just on the left-hand side of this calculator. And again, for those that can't see it, just simple. It's like, what's expense 1? What's expense 2? I put money in my policies. What's my expense 3? What's my housing? What's my recreation? Whatever it is, I work this out so it works out to $109,500 annually. So again, it ends up $9,125 monthly. So it's $109,500 $500 annually. And you'll see why I did this, and it's just for simple calculation. So just bear with me on that if you're like, I'm not sure where these numbers are coming from. These are just expenses that are flowing through your hands on a monthly basis. A little over $9,000 comes through this person's hands, which equates to $109,000, almost $110,000 annually. $10,000 a month, just really straightforward. A little less than $10,000, a little over $9,000 that flows to your checking account. So what that means is that, and again, we have a calculator that we pull up, and I'm gonna pull that in here. And we actually have a really simple sheet. I love this sheet. And again, if you can't see it, it's just what's called our liquidity sheet. And so this is just where we enter the numbers. I'll just take the 109, 500, and I'm going to divide that by 365 days in the year. And that gives me what we call our burn rate. If you don't know your burn rate, this is where that financial pressure is that you're feeling. This is where this is coming from. And so I would encourage you to get really clear on what your burn rate is. And this just happens to be $300 per day. So with that being said, now we know, hey, we're spending $300 per day. So the next question is, if I'm spending $300 per day, if all the wheels on my bus fall off, again, this is probably not going to happen, but let's just say it does. How secure am I? How good do I feel based on how much cash I have in savings? We want to be sure that we're talking about savings, not investments, because these things will fluctuate up and down. And if you didn't go through the 08 crisis, if you didn't go through COVID, again, we all did, but if you just remember those days, like, how did you feel? How about the day, and we'll talk about this some other time too, but how about the first day you got fired from a job? Like, how did you feel about that? Microsoft says, hey, we're going to lay off 10,000 people, and you're part of that 10,000 person group. You have a little bit of panic going on until you go, oh, wait a second, I have so many days of liquidity, or I know what my burn rate is, and I know what my liquidity is, so I know how many days of liquidity I have. That's really where we're trying to drive, to help you find some clarity and help you find some calmness in that conversation. So let me just take you to a next part of the screen. Again, we can share this within. This is really nothing crazy. It's fairly straightforward. But if we say, hey, we were holding money in our policies, we got $6,000 in one policy, we got $5,000 available in another policy, we got $500 here, we got some in savings, joint savings and checking. So totally, this hypothetical person, we have $56,000 in policies, and we have $22,000 just in checking and savings. Again, we probably have a discussion. We should move that money from savings over to the policies, but maybe that's where you find comfort, but it doesn't make any difference. This is about finding comfort for you to allow you to sleep at night. So this gives me $78,000 of liquid cash that I could use if tomorrow I had no income coming in. We have a burn rate. Again, we talked about this of $300. Again, this is a simple spreadsheet, and that gives me $262 days of liquidity. So I'm going to say that again. We have total cash available, $78,000. We're spending about $300 per day, and this gives me $262 of liquidity. Excuse me, 262 days of liquidity. Now the question is, what's your goal? What would be the ideal number to have? So think about where this is taking us. Okay, now we have an idea of what we're spending on a daily basis. We know what we have in a reserve, a pool of money that we can get access to any time we want, no matter what's going on in the economy. And that's telling us that we have 262 days of spending without having any other income come in. That certainty is huge. That certainty is very, very valuable from the standpoint of, you have, okay, I already know, I'm pretty confident I got this. You can kind of think, I got this. We're good to go. So with that being said, then we have, again, the visual we use. We have just a one pager that we like to share with our clients and really with anybody that wants to see this. And it's, here we are. So we take the 78,500 is our total liquid assets. We divide by $300 that we spend per day. That gives us the 262. That's very uncommon. This idea of liquidity is something that people don't appreciate until you need it. Like, let me just put it that way. And then now it's like, we had a guy tell us one time, he's like, I've gone through all the big downturns. I got a lot of battle scars. I don't want to have that ever happen again. And so he wants 3 years of liquidity. Nothing's right or wrong. All I'm telling you is that most people have less than 30 days, and that's why you're feeling financial pressure. Think about that for a second. Your job ends tomorrow, your business, shuts down tomorrow, COVID happens again, whatever happens, an event's going to happen. How secure, how well can you sleep that night that you hear that? If you know these numbers, you're going to say, you might not sleep really well, but you can sleep a lot more comfortably going, no, I have some time. We're really buying time here to either pivot, to take advantage of an opportunity to do whatever we need to do. But just that, knowing that number and then having a target to work towards is huge. It's beneficial. So what we want to do in this scenario, again, we have 262 days of liquidity. This person's target is like, I want to have a full year, 365 days of liquidity. So I need $109,500. So I'm $30,000 short. So now I just want to now be very specific. Now I have a target. Now I know what to work for. And once I hit that number, now this is the beauty of it. Once you hit that number, then you're going to find a sense of freedom, this elation that builds up inside you. You go, I'm at that freedom number. And now when you say, hey, maybe we should buy some crypto. Again, this is where the sequence comes in. The timing and the sequence comes in. You might say, I feel really good because if something happens, I have a full year to take care of my family, take care of myself, take care of all my obligations. And now you can start making decisions from a platform of freedom and certainty versus scarcity. Because if you don't know, you're making some wild guesses to a lot of different things. We had a gentleman one time. Just imagine you have a lot of days of liquidity. He had 3 years in his mind, about 3 years of liquidity, but he didn't know if that was enough, too much, not enough. We put this framework, we put this context for him. He goes, I need a year. I got an extra, 2 years of liquidity. Now it gave him the freedom, kind of get that permission slip to say, I want to go out and I want to buy some real estate. I want to buy some crypto. I want to do some other things. And he was making these decisions based off of knowledge and understanding, not of ignorance and guessing. And so it gave him a tremendous amount of freedom to make really good decisions. So anyhow, I would just take a step back and say, if this is a conversation that is of interest to you, connect with me. Find me, Wade at sagewellstrategy.com, and send me emails and just send in maybe in the descriptions burn rate, and I'll know what you want, and I'll get you the sheets, and we can walk through this, or I can send it to you. You can walk through yourself. And then you want to say, how do I find a solution to that? We can definitely help you do that. But at first, it's identifying the problem, identifying the reason why you're not sleeping at night, identifying the reason why you feel this nudge of financial pressure. So anyhow, I would ask you to do that. And more importantly, do all the things that you're supposed to do on social media, right? So if you like this conversation, if this is intriguing to you and you know other people, like and share this thing. We need more people to have a sense of control and empowerment of their finances. And it starts right here. Knowing how many days of liquidity you have and knowing how many days that you can go without any additional income. And you're going to find a sense of freedom when you do that. So I know this is going to be beneficial for those that are going to engage in this. And I would just say, reach out to me and we'll definitely get you started down that pathway, and we'll empower you to take control of that function in your life.
Grateful to have you tune in today. If you're ready to rethink your financial journey and take the next step, make sure to subscribe. Until next time, stay curious and stay in control.